What's happening, guys? I'm here at the Prime Terminal in Springfield. Uh, it's been a while since I made a video. Get out on the road and you want to make a video, but you get down at the end of the night and just not feeling it. I've been making some notes of my experience. First thing off, first thing that happened is my last video that I made late December is pretty much null and void now, in the sense that I decided to go lease. I was going to get on this guy's truck, and it wasn't red flags per se, but it was definitely something that I just felt like I could make the money myself. All the work he was wanting me to do to run his business, I could do for myself. Um, I hear a lot of different people talking about how you should go company before you decide to go lease and all that. But I mean, if I make enough money to send home, to pay rent and bills and, buy groceries on the road, everything else is stashed. So I think I'm going to do all right on that. But I decided to lease a 2020 Peterbilt with the Epic package, 579. It had 272,000 miles on it when I first got it. I had heard that you kind of want to get something 150,000 plus miles, has all the kinks worked out and whatnot. A lot of people have different opinions on whether you want to go brand new or something a little more broken in. This was kind of the middle ground as to what success had to offer. There was a lot of stuff, 300,000 plus miles. I looked at a Freightliner, wasn't impressed with it, and then the one I ended up finding, this Peterbilt, somebody had looked at it and then backed down from it. I don't particularly know why they did, but I drove it around a little bit and looked inside, and it was fun. And the more I spend time in it, the more I'm really liking this truck. So I had to do the whole inspection. You go into success after you say you want the truck. They give you like a 20 plus page packet where they give you the opportunity to note just about everything that's possibly wrong with the truck, any imperfections in the paint, any imperfections anywhere that the truck might need work, something. So I went through that. It happened to be the day I did my inspection. It was probably 10 degrees and it was snowing. So I was jumping in and out of the truck. I didn't have my winter socks or really any true winter wear. So I was freezing my butt off out there. But I got it done. There were a few things that needed done to it. There was an AC line under the hood that needed fixed. Noticed after the fact there was no antenna. Well, of course there's no antenna. I think you have to provide that yourself, but there was no coax cable going up for the CB. There was also, weirdly enough, it had been suggested to me that this was a former Wilson's Logistics truck. I don't really know how they determined that, but I had it told to me by a guy in a tractor shop, and even a couple guys in the tractor shop that I had been going in and out of the shop to deal with some stuff. But there was no glad hand or electrical line holders on the truck whatsoever. Have no idea what that was about. That kind of leads me into my experience with the tractor shop here at Prime. They're some of the nicest guys here, but getting anything done was pretty tough. I had dropped off my truck talking about how turns out that the truck had a 1200 watt inverter on it, which is really low. From what I understand, Prime trucks are spec'd at 1800 watt inverters. So I had a hard time getting Success Leasing or even the tractor shop to believe me when I said it was 1200 watts, because I had a refrigerator installed, I had a microwave in there, both bought from the Prime store, and it kept tripping. Like, I had to keep getting out and going to the side door and going under and pressing the switch to reset it, and it would just on a minor load. Like, I put, like I said, a refrigerator, a microwave, and I got a TV in there with a surge protector that has the TV on it, and I had my Nintendo Switch on it, but I've since taken the dock home. It just doesn't make any sense to have it when it's a handheld. So anyway, where was I at? Let's see, I made some notes here, so I try not to meander, but I can't help it. yeah, the tractor shop experience, I had dropped it off for them to look at the AC line and repair it, install the glad hand holders, and um, look at the inverter. And then I went home for a couple days because they said it was going to be a couple days to get it looked at because I didn't have an appointment. Well, I come back and pretty much none of that was done. They diagnosed the AC line and ordered the part, but said it wouldn't be there for another week and a half, but I should be okay to roll on it because everywhere is cold. Their words, not mine. Anyway, it took another attempt throwing it into the shop for them to take care of that. Finally, had to push to get that installed. Through that second attempt, I was sitting around all day waiting for it when the detail shop called me and told me, hey, we can install your CB. So I head over there, and the guy's digging through the top of my truck looking for a coaxial cable, and he tells me, he's like, there's no coaxial cable up here. And I was like, okay, well, apparently I have to take this to Pete anyway for the inverter problem. He's like, yeah, when you take it to Pete, you should just have them install the coaxial cable. Finally get the glad hands holders installed on the truck. So then the next day I take it to Pete. They say it's going to be a 4-day wait. So at that point I just drop it off and head back home, wait for their call. I wanted them to go ahead and look at the AC line because my timeline may be screwy here. I think I had learned at this point that they had ordered the part for the AC line, and when they were going to install the glad hand holders, I was going to have them repair the AC line. Well, they ordered the wrong part, so they couldn't do anything there. So I had Peterbilt do the AC line, take a look at the inverter, fix the curtains track because a couple of the curtain things were out of the track, and I wanted them to look at the coaxial cable and install that so I could get an antenna for my CB. I got one of the Uniden Bearcat 880 or whatever, usually goes for 130 bucks. I got a store back at home. It's an overstock store. Damaged goods, stuff like that. It's a variety of things, just basically rejected loads that get sent to this place. But I found it for like 80 bucks, so I thought that was a steal. But Peterbilt ignored my request to repair the tracks. They ignored my request to install the coaxial cable. They did repair the AC line, and they did confirm that my inverter was 1200 watts. So finally got Success Leasing to believe me, and then the guy from the tractor shop, I think like the shop foreman, came out and took a look at it, and he's like, wow, that really is 1200 watts, and wanted to make sure that my harness could handle an 1800 watt, and it did, and they got that installed. So no more tripping happening on the inverter. So about the only time, like, I can run the microwave and my TV and the refrigerator is just fine. The only time I got to turn on the truck to run something is my coffee maker. I'm thinking it's just that rapid heating element for the water that kind of screws with the inverter. So worst case, it allows me to warm up the truck when I get started in the morning while I'm making my coffee and doing my routine. So yeah, altogether I was not very impressed with the tractor shop. It seems like they kind of look at it really quick and decide if it's gonna be a lot of time on their end. They could just kind of ignore it. And I'm sure they're busy guys, and I've only had a few interactions with them, but like I said, nice dudes, just not impressed with the quality of work. It seems like kind of have to hold their hand a little bit to get things done. And through my experience with them and Peterbilt, I've just decided I'm gonna get what I want from now on, even if it means having to hold people's hands and kind of treat them like a baby. I'm gonna double check work, and I'm gonna reject taking my truck back if the work that I wanted done is not done. So you gotta get what you need out here. But this took probably about a week, almost a week and a half to get done, to get everything I wanted done with my truck done before I even signed the lease. Success Leasing's doing this whole white glove service where they're really trying to take care of you and make sure the truck that you get is everything that you want and what you need and all that. So I did what was it? Sorry, looking at my notes here. But yeah, do your inspection, note any imperfection, anything that needs to be fixed. Get everything fixed before you head out. It would even be best to spend a night or two in the truck to make sure your APU or EPU is working. I happen to have an EPU, which was new to me. Don't have a giant other diesel engine hanging off the back of the truck. It operates off of the truck batteries. When you stop for the night, you hold this switch in for 3 seconds, and it kind of checks everything, and you can use the batteries of the truck to operate everything you need. And if overnight the batteries get too drained or whatever, the truck will auto start and run between 1 and 2 hours to recharge the batteries. So as far as I know, it's pretty easy to as far as I know, it's allowable in places that have idle laws that don't allow you to idle. So, excuse me. But if you do, before you sign the lease, like I said, get everything done. If you miss something after you sign the lease, I think you have, I don't remember if they said, I'm getting the 60-day bumper-to-bumper warranty mixed up with I think they said you have 30 days to message Success Leasing through a Qualcomm message to let them know that there was something you missed on the initial inspection, and they'll note it on your report. So I had a few things like paint chips and stuff like that, just common wear and tear on the vehicle, but they allowed me to get the AC line fixed and all that, and they were on it as far as knowing right when I got everything fixed. I got a Qualcomm message pretty quick from Success asking when I planned on signing the lease. So I told them I planned on signing it the next day and then grabbing a load and getting out, so I wouldn't have wanted to take full advantage of the prorated lease that they give you. I still don't quite understand that schedule. It depends on the day that you sign it, because Success runs from, what is it, their week ends on like a Monday or Tuesday. It's already been so long I've forgotten, but they don't run the same Wednesday to Wednesday that Prime does. They run on sort of a different schedule. So your first week is free. After that, your first payment is prorated, and then after that it's a full payment. So I think my truck payment's $9.90 a week, and I'm getting charged $70 for an APU, even though I have an EPU. I don't really know. It's probably about the same maintenance, despite the fact that it's not an actual diesel engine that's powering it. But in a sense, my engine is what's powering it when the power gets low. So whatever, is what it is. After that, I had my first load to Tyson in Illinois. It was a nice, quick little load. Picked it up out of the yard. I get there, and let's see. I believe I delivered to a Walmart DC, and then I had a pickup at Tyson in Illinois. That would have been my second load. The first load wasn't even noteworthy. I think it was like $800 or something like that, but it was a chill load. I didn't have to run too hard on it. There's no early delivery at Walmart DC. You can get there an hour early, and that's about it. Otherwise, they charge you. So, but my second load was to Tyson, and I get there, and it was actually really cool. They have a whole area you back up to for a washout. You open your trailer doors, slide your tandems, and back up to this area. Basically, this machine comes into the trailer and steam cleans it, gets it all clean, and they tell you, pull up 10 feet and close your doors immediately. Otherwise, you're going to have to go back and do it again, because they're all about, Tyson hauls meat, and they want it all sanitary. So anyway, I get there. Lady was super nice. She notes that my driver's side headlight was out. So that was news to me. I swear I looked at the light several times before I left, so it happened sometime between when I left and when I got to Tyson. But anyway, I was told that I get there and that the load would be ready in the morning. I get up and call Tyson, because they give you a number to contact, and then I get told that the appointment was wrong. It was not for a pickup at 9 a.m., that they actually have until 11 o'clock that night to fill the order. And I think a lot of people know about Tyson and their inconsistency with appointments and kind of leaving drivers waiting. They have loads that pay well, but it's kind of a crapshoot as to when you get there if you're actually going to get taken care of on time. So I ended up staying there almost, what would it have been, about 24 hours. At that point, I got the load. I was ready to roll, and made it out. It had 3 stops: Pennsylvania, Maryland, and was it North Carolina, I think. So on the way out to Pennsylvania, I got hit by some winter weather. Ended up having to go down. I felt really uncomfortable driving with one headlight out, so I managed to stop at this TA in Ohio and had the TA shop look at it, and they got it working, but they said it was a temp fix. He was noted in there that he wired from the right side headlight to the left side headlight. Um, I later found out, after I've been getting low beam fault warnings on the Peterbilt on my truck, so I had the Peterbilt mobile tech come out, and I tell you what, that dude worked his butt off. He got up in the guts of that truck to find the short in the harness, wherever it was. I forget where he said it was, but I mean, he pulled off the side panel, was up under the truck checking for shorts. He got up, under the hood, behind the tires, just checking everywhere he could. He spent 6 hours on my truck, found it, diagnosed it, fixed it. He was mad at the TA guy because apparently he sliced into the harness to do his little fix, and he said some of the wires were corroded. So if I have any issues with that whole situation, he gave me his number and said he documents all of his work. So he said if I have any issues in the future to go ahead and contact him for those pictures, because I need to go after that TA for that work that they did. He was mad. He spent probably an hour and a half just undoing what that guy did and making it work again. So I give that guy a lot of props. I feel like I was just really taken care of, and it's not technically a Peterbilt mobile tech. I forget who exactly it is they contract, but this guy actually worked in the factory where the Peterbilt 579s were built, so he knew his stuff. He was rattling stuff off, and I was just kind of staring at him with dead eyes, not really understanding anything he said, but he sounded knowledgeable. So despite that, I did some various loads between Illinois, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida, Louisiana, back to Pennsylvania, up to Vermont, back down to Pennsylvania. I got off a grocery store load up in Vermont, and my fleet manager called me, which fleet managers rarely call just out of the blue. From what I understand, there's a whole meme on the internet that you have to decide whether you screwed up or the fleet manager screwed up, or both, when they decide to call you. So he called me. He's like, "Listen, Dave, I need you to do me a favor." And I was like, you know what, I'll play ball. I know when you scratch their back, they scratch yours later on down the line. I'm willing to be a team player and help out, and I'm not going to be that guy that says no to favors. So he says there was a truck that was in an accident in West Vermont, and the truck and trailer were sitting in a tow yard, and the product needed to be unloaded from that trailer into my trailer. All right, sounds fun. So that was fun getting there. A bunch of 2-lane roads up in the mountains with speeds of 55 miles an hour, but I barely went over 40 on just collecting lines of people behind me. But that doesn't bother me anymore. I'm being safe. So, but Vermont does not have much for highways, but it's utterly beautiful up there. Anyway, I get to the tow yard, and from what I understand, Prime was paying these guys to unload that trailer and put it into my trailer. I think Prime had assumed that they were going to load straight from the other trailer into mine. It wasn't completely wrecked. I think the driver only, from what the story I heard, he clipped a light pole or a tree, so it was just the top front of the trailer. The roof was caved in a little. And I get there, the guys are on lunch break, so I have a little lunch of my own, wait for them to get there. They tell me to reposition the trailer in a certain way, which I didn't really think made a lot of sense, but they were a tow yard, so they had a flatbed tow truck that they backed up to the back of my trailer. Mind you, they had already unloaded the first trailer, and the product is sitting on pallets on the ground, and the product is in bags, like these really, really hefty bags. It's like, if you see it in its normal shape, it almost looks like a cube bag with handles on each corner. And from what I understand, what I was able to glean off the paperwork is I think it was those pink circus peanuts, you know, that are kind of marshmallowy. You always see them at like the gas station. You're like, who eats those? Well, apparently people eat them. I was told this load was going to be, I think, 16,000 pounds. It was a little over 40,000 pounds of these marshmallow peanuts. But when I get there, they had already unloaded the truck, and the product was sitting on the ground in snowy Vermont in a dirty truck yard or a tow yard. And uh, I wait for them. I get the trailer repositioned. They back a flatbed trailer up, or a flatbed truck, tow truck, up to the back of my trailer. Um, that that tow truck has a forklift on the back. They have another forklift on the ground, lifting the pallets up to the back of the flatbed, and then rolling sort of haphazardly into the back of my trailer to load the product. Uh, I mean, it wasn't the prettiest thing, but I got in and out of there quicker than most docks. So I don't know. I even told him, I said, "You guys work faster than most people that I deal with." So kudos there. There was a couple times the product had shifted because of the accident that happened to the trailer. So there was a couple bags that were not particularly straight on the pallets, so they actually fell off, and they had to kind of use the forklift tines and go through those handles I mentioned to lift the bag, throw the pallet back under it, straighten it out, and then get it on the trailer. The whole process probably took 2 hours, I'm guessing. But they got me done, and I got out of there, and I had to haul it south about 350 miles. So I'm about 45 minutes down the road, and I have a lady from claims call me, and she's checking on the load, and she's like, okay, did you have the bills of lading and the seal intact? And I was like, I asked the tow yard for the bills of lading, and they just kind of looked at me like they didn't know what I was talking about. They said there were no bills. And she's like, okay, well, we can probably get those to you. I'll have to contact your fleet manager. Do you at least have the seal in hand? And it was kind of a nervous reaction. I just started laughing. I was like, there was no seal. She's like, she started getting mad with me. And she's like, what do you mean there's no seal? How could there be no seal? And I said, she's like, obviously they loaded directly from the trailer into your trailer, right? The seal should be there. And I said, ma'am, I'm sorry, but when I got there, they had already unloaded the product. The doors were wide open on the other trailer, and the product was sitting on the ground. And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe that. And she's like, what was it like out there? Did it look dirty? I said, well, ma'am, it's a tow yard in Vermont where it had been snowing, and I mean, it's a tow yard. So, I mean, everything looked fine. None of the bags looked compromised or anything. But I think by the look of the pallets, it's kind of obvious that they've been maybe rolling around in the snow and dirt a little bit. And she was just kind of beside herself and was getting kind of mad at me. And I kind of just had to throw out there. I was like, ma'am, I've been out here for 2.5 weeks. I'm learning as much as I can, but I just want you to know I'm green out here. There's a lot outside my control. And she just kind of, you could tell at that point she kind of chilled out and was a little bit more understanding. But she said, if this ever happens again, you do something like this, one, you need to take pictures and video. And I did tell her I actually took a little video of the loading process and showed what the product looked like in the truck. But she was just educating me on what I needed to do. You need to take pictures. You need to, if you don't have seals from Prime, make sure you hit a truck stop and grab some seals there. Bills of lading, not much you can do in regards to that. Luckily, my fleet manager was able to send me an email of them in PDF format, and I was able to give it to the 90. I had to get their email address, and I sent it to them, and seemed to be fine, worked out fine. But it turned into a whole thing. What was supposed to be a drop and hook turned into a live unload. I get to the 90 at like 10 p.m. And then I wake up in the morning, have to go check in. They say they're going to have to work me in because I didn't have an appointment. So 11 a.m. rolls around, and a guy comes out. He's like, is this the load that was in the accident? I said, yeah. And he's like, well, let me make a call real quick. And he makes a call and comes back. He's like, you can just drop this and you can leave. So I confirmed with claims and my fleet manager, and they both said that's fine. If that's what they want to do, that's fine. Go ahead and drop it. Um, but I wasn't able to find a trailer and just had to bobtail out of there. The guy at the counter was just gruff and ridiculous, just being silly. I had to go in there and tell him, well, there's no trailer, so I'm going to go ahead and bobtail out of here. Well, I don't know what you want me to do about that. Sir, I'm just letting you know that I'll be bobtailing out, not taking a trailer. You don't have any. Your lot is a muddy mess, and I'm not looking to get stuck. One, but two, I've looked around your lot and there is no trailer. So bobtailed to Pittston. I was just down the road from Pittston at that point, and stayed the night and caught up on some sleep and got to check that whole terminal out. Past that, everything went pretty smooth. I had some good loads and made more money in a month than I would have in 6 months at my old job. So that was really nice. I've just been, taking my money, sending what I can home, sending for bills and whatnot, paying my bills, and then everything that's left over, I take 30% of my check and throw it in a high interest savings account for taxes. Then everything else left over, I've got split up amongst several other bank accounts for a sort of whatever, emergency fund. I'm using words wrong. It is almost midnight and my sleep has been really wacky the last couple days. Anywhoozles, I am back in Springfield now. My dad finally upgraded. Should have been Friday. It was Wednesday, yesterday. He finished his classes and his CBTs, stayed up till 2 a.m. Thursday night into Friday, finishing his CBTs. Friday morning, he sent the email to the whole upgrade process saying, what his driver code, what division he's driving for, and whether he's going company or lease. Told him company because he's getting on my truck. The whole plan originally was to have him lease and then I'd go company, but things got screwy with our timeline, and I decided to take the plunge and go ahead and go lease. So anyway, he sent that. No word Friday. Well, apparently the word was from the upgrade people that he was never officially routed in for upgrade. So something happened there. Fleet manager made some adjustments. He said done. But that was even before we found out our fleet manager was off Friday and Saturday and wasn't in again until Sunday. So that didn't get done until Sunday. And then apparently the upgrade people only work Monday through Friday, probably 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we finally hear back that, it's his file is making its rounds to people. Monday goes by. Tuesday goes by. No word. My fleet manager actually wanted to set me up with a load Monday night. We got the pay plan set up. That's apparently what I forgot to do. He's like, listen, I got a load going out to California that's going to be rolling in about midnight. If you take that load, your dad should be upgraded by the morning, so you need to be the one that drives it first, and then by the time he gets there, by the time you get, end your driving shift, he should be upgraded. He can take over. Seems weird to me, just everything that's happened. Okay, let's take a chance on this. Well, this was like right at the end of the day, like 4:50, 10 minutes before he was set to leave. So we start doing a little trip planning, see all this winter weather heading in. There's like one spot on 10 highway in California that's not part of a winter weather advisory. We're gonna have to shoot south and add 100 miles to this route anyway. So we're looking at it, and I ask, what's the revenue? When is it due? And at that point, night dispatch had taken over. They didn't know what load I was talking about, and then finally assumed which load I was talking about and figured it out. And they're like, okay, well, the revenue is going to be about $3,200, and there is no appointment yet. It'll be based on your ETA. I'm like, okay. Well, midnight rolls around, and I get the pre-plan on my Prime app, Qualcomm, whatever you want to call it. and what was supposed to be around a $3,200 load ended up being a $2,400 load. Between that, just the revenue getting knocked down, and just my lack of faith in what I'd seen and how slow it was getting my dad upgraded, I was like, we're gonna pass on this. So I called Driver Lineup, see if they had another one. They had one going to, oh, what is it? I forget it. The town. It's just out. It's like just southeast of Las Vegas on the outskirts. But that would have put us in a crappier situation with winter weather. So I had to turn that one down too. At that point, I was like, okay, we're gonna sit and wait for you to get upgraded. Then Wednesday rolls around and it's about noon, and I'm like, let's pen an email together. So we pen an email to the upgrade people and we're like, listen, can we get an update on what's going on? We've been, my dad finished his CBTs and his classes by Friday, had the email sent to you guys on Friday. We were ready to roll Saturday. We've been sitting here for 4 days now with no word as to his upgrade status. I haven't made him put in there that, he's been sitting on the truck for 4 days. We've been waiting. That, at this point, this is costing me money, me sitting here. So, not 30 minutes after we send that email, it was a polite but firm email that something needed to be done because this wait was ridiculous. Not 30 minutes later, I get a Qualcomm message from my fleet manager, and he gets an email from the operations upgrade guy that congratulations, or not even a congratulations, it's just, you're now AC. It's just like no fanfare. Not that he was expecting fanfare. I think my dad was expecting a little bit more. He's gone through so much adversity out here. Just he went through 3 trainers. Just certain things happened at home, some family emergencies. He had one of his own things going on, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. Definitely want to do like a video with him. I don't know if he's wanting to start his own channel or piggyback on mine, whatever. We definitely need to catch you guys up on his story, because he's had a wild ride these past couple months, and even the year before that he's faced a lot. So finally him getting all this done, and then like almost being forgotten by Prime, I think kind of bummed him out after going through so much, and just me having to send that email, or both of us sending that email. I definitely have my input on that email, but just finally just almost being forgotten, and then having to be forced for them to remember that he needed to be upgraded. Like, I think it was just a kick in the nards for him. It was really unfortunate. I feel bad for him, but I don't think it feels real to us just yet. I think it'll feel real once he's behind the wheel and we're moving. So that's probably going to happen tomorrow. It is midnight tonight. My dad was on, what's his name? Daniel's pad trainer out here. My dad had him as a pad trainer, and he was on his live, and somebody had asked if I was still going to make videos, and then he told him, yeah, he once he told me that, I was like, oh man, somebody's holding my feet to the fire. I can never make myself do things. If I'm accountable to somebody else or other people, I can always make it happen, but I'm the first one to disappoint me all the time, it seems like. So if I have someone external out there, I don't want to disappoint them. I don't know what it is. But I think it was Tim West posted on Daniel's live stream asking my dad about me, and he said, he'll make one tonight. And I think OTC hopped on there and gave that a like. So I'm like, all right, let me get out there and talk to my people, let them know I'm still alive, and so far successful out here. So yeah, just some frustrations happening with Prime. Everybody's been super nice and stuff like that, but there's just been a few things that have really aggravated me. The way they handled his upgrade process, the tractor shop, just stuff like that. Feels like you really got to fight to get what you want done here. So I hope this isn't perceived as bad mouthing Prime or anything like that. I'm just sharing my experience and how I feel about it. You know, I'm not crapping on anybody. So at that point, probably gonna wrap this up. I'm probably gonna do like a frequently asked questions video. I get a lot of questions about PSD and TNT and whether they take hair follicle tests or urine tests and stuff like that. So I will try my best to make another video of frequently asked questions. Guys, let me know if you have any comments, or let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the leasing process, upgrade process, PSD, TNT. I'm always there to answer any questions you got. Happy to help. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'll probably forget something that I meant to mention here when I wrap it up, but that's what another video is for. I'm gonna be up all night, get my schedule straight. So my dad wants to drive days, I will drive nights. That's fine with me, but my sleep schedule's been pretty wacky. I'm sitting here waiting. I've just been playing Minecraft on the Switch in the truck, so I'm a little zany the past couple days. So all right guys, I'll catch you later. Stay safe out there.